moment I sat on this Indian Chieftain Dark Horse motorcycle from the Indian motorcycle brand of the United States, my neighbor came running up to me and said, "Bhai, ye kab se hathi palna shuru kar diya tune?" So I looked at him and said, "Meri marji, main hathi palun, sher palun. That's mine. That's my interest." Then he didn't stop with his wisecracks. Then he said, "Bhai, kitne ki hai?" I said, "Ye 32 lakh ki hai, rupees 32.5 lakh, ex-showroom, Delhi." Then he looked at me surprised and said, "भाई इसमें तो 4 पहिए वाली गाड़ी खरीद लूँ मैं." तो I said, "तुझे कौन रोक रहा है? जाकर खरीद ले." Then I thought to myself, बंदर क्या जाने अदरक का स्वाद. True.
Call this bike a hathi or a sher or anything else, there is no denying the fact that the Indian Chieftain Dark Horse is like a man's dark fantasy. Let me put that a little differently for you. If you want to sleep with Kim Kardashian, you have got to be Kanye West. If you want to ride this fairly large motorcycle like the Indian Chieftain Dark Horse, you need to tame it. This bike is really huge. It's almost 8.5 feet in length and has a dry weight of around 362 kilograms. Once you pour in the liquids, your petrol and your oils, this weight could easily go up several kilograms. Add your own weight to that and that of your pillion rider if he or she is riding with you. This could take you well past the 500 kg level. You not only should have good strength in your arms and legs, but also the rest of your body. The Indian Chieftain Dark Horse is really a black stallion. Similar in its appearance to its cousin, the Indian Chief Dark Horse, this one's also born black and sexy. This chieftain is a tad heavier than the Chief Dark Horse and has a lot more features too. But what makes this Indian Chieftain Dark Horse quite appealing in its looks is its large front fairing on which is mounted the instrument cluster. This fairing mounted instrument cluster features an electronic speedometer, tachometer, fuel gauge with odometer, dual trip meters with distance and time, average as well as current fuel economy, fuel range, real-time clock, ambient air temperature, gear position display, front and rear, tire pressure and radio information display, among others. Apart from the main DRL headlight, there are two more lamps on either side which can be switched on. With all three lights on, the Indian Chieftain Dark Horse surely looks imposing. Look around, you shall notice that the motorcycle has 15 LED telltale indicators. Since it's an Indian motorcycle, you cannot miss the images and motif of the Red Indian Chief. You cannot miss the Indian warhead motif mounted on the front fender of the bike as though it is leading you tirelessly on your long journeys. The acoustically engineered dual exhaust eliminate high-pitched sound. The smart balanced fenders add a lot of Batman-like charm to the bike. The side saddles can be locked and unlocked through the remote attached to your key. Once you have manually locked the bike, you can use the remote lock to secure it further against any theft. This motorcycle comes with a 100-watt stereo system with 2 speakers attached on either sides of the front fairing that can play your FM and AM channels as well as stream the music from your smartphone through Bluetooth. Controls on either side of the handlebar help you with the audio volumes, radio station search, electronic control of windshield height, high and low beam switch, cruise control, and of course your start-stop button for the engine. The bike has a horn button too, which once pressed gently can command a lot of respect from those around to give you the right of way which you so rightly deserve. Once you have unlocked the handlebar, all you need to do is put your key in your pocket and start this motorcycle by pressing the tank-mounted power button, press down the kill switch, depress the clutch lever and press the start button. The engine roars to life. Before engaging the first gear, you need to pull back your side stand with your foot or else the engine would simply cut off. A very important safety feature that needs to be there in every bike, big or small. The seating position for the rider in this bike is very comfortable with a seat height of 660mm. The one I rode even had a smart backrest that could be adjusted in 2 different ways to support your lumbar region. The Indian Chieftain Dark Horse is powered by the trusted Thunderstroke 111 engine with a displacement of 1811cc, producing enough peak power and torque, so much so that even on second gear you can pull yourself from a stationary position and get going. The engine produces a peak power of 73 horsepower at around 5000 rpm, while peak torque at 138.9 Nm kicks in as early as 2600 rpm. The Indian Chieftain Dark Horse has a length of 2571 mm, width of 1000 mm and a height of 1388 mm. And because of its large girth, turning the bike does not come easy at all. On a highway, this bike purrs like a tamed cat and leans in corners like a trained athlete. But in crowded streets, it becomes quite irritable. The engine of this motorcycle does not like crowded streets and bad traffic. The moment the bike encounters that, it heats up like a furious cooker, singeing your legs. It becomes even difficult for the pillion rider in such conditions to enjoy the ride.
I need to give you one piece of advice. The fact is, this is not one of those bikes where you would just tell mama, "Main doodh lekar aata hu." This is heavy. You need to be in proper gear, you need to ride it well, because if you do not do that, it can roast anything from your leg and what is there between your legs. So be careful.
The bike comes with standard ABS with dual 300 mm floating rotor, 4-piston caliper brakes in front and a single 300 mm floating rotor 2-piston caliper brakes in the rear, which are capable enough to bring this large bike to a halt within reasonable time. Now, is this bike good for Indian roads? Yes, definitely, provided you are ready to tame a black stallion. Like what I hinted to my neighbor, हाथी पालना या शेर पालना वो तुम्हारी मर्जी है.